is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Mr. Lordi of the Almighty Lordi. It is great to be able to talk with you. Thanks for being here.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. You guys have been on a never-ending creative spree, which is something I've always loved about you. We got Screem Writers Guild coming very out. What was the overall making of this album? Was this sort of like picking up to where you left off after Lord Diversity in a way? Because I know that Lord Diversity had its own, line of experiments with a skeletal dinosaur, or skeletric dinosaur, and Superfly Trap, etc. Or is this like a new beginning for Lordi in a way?
Well, you said it. It is a new beginning because there after doing the Lord Diversity, which has like 7 different styles. Well, it has actually 7 different styles in music or rock, whatever there's one album of disco, but whatever. So after that, it felt kind of, suitable. It was like exactly 1 year ago in January 2022 when I got the call from the management to, hey, dude, start writing the new album. I said, sure, okay, I will. And I felt like really suitable at that moment after just releasing the Lord Diversity like 2 months prior to that. It felt really good to go back to the classic standard Lordi style, and we have a new guitar player who just joined the band on around that same time, so it felt good that okay, let's get back to the meat and potatoes, kind of like that feel. So this was really easy album to write, very natural, very painless, effortless.
Well, I mean, as if you listen to Lordi, when you listen from Get Heavy to Screem Writers Guild, from the very beginning to the present, it almost seems like every album plays by its own rules. You could tell what will be off of Get Heavy or what will be off of Dead Ache or Collection, Censorship, etc. Does it usually start off with a preconceived vision in a way, or is your songwriting process very improvisational?
Both, but I usually have some sort of a blueprint in my head. I at least know what style I'm aiming for when I'm start writing. I have some sort of a goal in my head. Sometimes it actually doesn't go into that direction that I originally wanted to write, but I'm one of those guys. I don't like to put like too many borders or rules or restrictions to myself when I'm writing. I'm more just going with the flow and just like writing whatever feels good at that moment. Because I know it sounds kind of cocky, but when I'm writing a song, it doesn't matter what song it is. I'm writing a song. I'm trying to write the best goddamn song in the world every single time. That's what and most of the time I'm feeling that. Oh my God, this is the best song ever. And I don't really care what style it is. I mean, it could be whatever. Usually it's some sort of hard rock or, heavy metal, if you will, or something. But most of the time I'm so thrilled and so excited about the whole process of writing that I don't really think or analyze it at that point that much. Afterwards, when I have like too many songs, because usually for a Lordi album we have like at least double the amount of songs that actually wind up to the album. We have the songs that were left out, because I'm a very productive personality. I'm very creative. I write the whole time. So then I can see that once again I did not write. None of these songs is the best song in the world. I'm still trying to do that, but yeah. So I forgot the question already, so I don't even know did I answer your question.
You answered it perfectly. I was gonna just mention that this has to make it easier to sort of try new things. It's not like you're not like a death metal band or a strict black metal band or something like that. It almost seems like the sky is the limit when incorporating new elements into the sound of Lordi, right?
Yeah, I don't because sometimes I feel a bit like when we are preferred to. I guess we are. I guess we are a hard rock band. Sure, we are definitely like 80s orientated heavy metal band. Like we're hair metal band maybe. But then again, I have never left that to restrain us in any way, because it's it's like as long as nobody calls us like a hip hop act, so then I'm all good,
Well,
because then it's time to quit.
well, I think you're kind of damned. I think, to the metal elitist crowd, to like death metal fans and black metal fans, you guys are like Nickelback. But to the radio friendly crowd, you guys are like Burzum. So I think
I know that's exact. And the funny thing is that without the look, without the image, it's funny how much that image actually plays a part in that, the look, because how people hear with their eyes, because when they see us, and then they are, I remember back in the days, like 20 years ago when we started, and first if they saw the picture of us, they thought that we were a black or death metal band, and when they heard us, what the hell? This is like Bon Jovi with Lemmy singing. What the hell is this? So it's a weird. It's kind of like, remember there was this Crystal Coke, some
Crystal Pepsi, yeah,
Crystal Pepsi, Crystal Coke. There was this the experiment that they had, like campaign thing. It was a funny thing when you saw, and when you poured that in the glass and you saw it, it tasted awful. If you closed your eyes and took a sip from the same glass, it tasted like Coke or Pepsi. I mean, I don't remember which one was it, but it's the same thing. Like when you see something and when you hear something, so then it's like, but like you said, yeah, for some people, I mean, we are a band that will never be understood equally for every single person. I mean, there's no consensus with us. But then again, that's a good thing. I mean, there's. I think like all the good bands that are like thriving through times and are somehow successful in what they're trying to do are those kind of bands that are dividing the people, and people opinions.
Well, I think it's part of the charm with Lordi. I think in the end, because I think you guys have the same effect as a band like Gwar. I mean, you've seen Gwar without ever listening to them. You're not going to know who they are. And the same goes for Slipknot or Mushroom Head or any sort of masked band. I think it's a fascinating phenomenon. But I do want to know, with the formation of Lordi, since it's been around, was this always the idea? Was this always the image that you had in mind with the formation of the band, or did it just kind of happen as you got together and just started writing the material for Get Heavy?
Well, I didn't start writing for Get Heavy. I started writing 10 years prior to that. I started in '92, and first it was just a one-man project. It was just a demo band, and it wasn't really a demo band per se, because it was just me and some occasional friends coming in to play guitar shows and stuff like that. And for the first 2 years, I didn't have any image. I just wanted to get the songs out of my system, And but then once I built it, got up the whole idea of the monster image or whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much the same, because of course the pictures from those days, the character of Mr. Lordi, for example, is definitely the same character as it is today. It has the same main ingredients still there. I mean, already, and but then again, it's no surprise, because the influences are very clear. Of course, I've never been shy about admitting our own musical. Or my own musical influences, like Kiss and Twisted Sister, Alice Cooper, and blah 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 blah. But also like image-wise, it's like I still dig the same things. I still dig the same. I mean, Freddy Krueger is the coolest looking, face of a monster that you can have. Gene Simmons as his demon persona is the coolest looking demon character, that is not like even the human anymore. And stuff like that. So there are the same ingredients still that I dug then. So yeah, it is pretty much. And looking at the pictures from the mid '90s, it's I would say like your everyday Joe would not even know would not even see the difference. Kind of like the same way with Kiss, that there are so many people in the world who don't know that it's Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer in Kiss and not Peter Criss and Israel. So they don't see the difference. They don't see like with most of the people, they don't see when Lordi changes the costumes and even the characters change. They don't even see that. And the same thing with Kiss. People don't see when they change costumes. For every album, they don't see it. They just don't pay attention. They're okay.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, like, as somebody who's interviewed Gwar multiple times through both on video and audio, they're always portraying the character. They're like they wouldn't have the conversation with me like you and I are having right now.
Yeah.
But I do want to know: is Mr. Lordi a metaphor or an alter ego of who you personally are in your life, or with Lordi you portray somebody completely outside of your element?
It is like of course. I mean, my brain lives inside Mr. Lordi's brain. It's the same dude. But I very early on, I realized that this shit is not gonna fly if I try to act like a goddamn monster the whole time. Because for me, that is just silly. And that is just fucking plain stupid. It's like actually the very first radio interview that I did in 2002, when I was like caught off guard, kind of like that all of a sudden I got a live radio interview when our first debut single went #1 or something, and so I didn't know how to react. So I was trying to do the monster thing, and it sucks. It doesn't fucking work. It is just so fucking stupid. So I dropped it after that first try because it was so embarrassing and ridiculous. But then again, you can go on YouTube and see like Gene Simmons' first TV interview when he's trying to be in his demon character, and it is ridiculous. Yeah. Well, but with all respect to Gwar, but it's like, for me, what they're doing, I have all the respect for that and everything, but for me it is just silly and ridiculous. It's like a performance. It's not reality. Because
Well, I was wondering how this interview would go. And I'm telling you, we're 12 and a half minutes into it, and I already love how this interview is going. Because part of me was wondering, I'm always like the kind of serious interviewer who always likes to ask, about the creative process and everything. So, it feels good to be able, because I've always wondered what was behind the mask of Lordi in a way, especially with you being such a prolific artist, not just in music, but with multiple mediums, because you work in comic book artists and graphic design, and you design this. It's like Lordi is a visual experience and an artistic movement in which you created. So is there a similar energy that you channel into visual art as you do with your music in a way, or does the energy or mindset change depending on what medium you're working with?
Oh, it is the same. It is pretty much the same, and the main thing that I have, the main driving force that I have is the enthusiasm that I have, the excitement that I'm having the whole time. Because like right now, as we speak, before this interview, I had another interview, but I'm editing our forthcoming next video, the first video for the new album, and I'm so fucking excited of doing that. I'm a film school graduated from myself from the mid 90s, and I really haven't worked with movies or with moving pictures in the past 20 years. Of course, I've been involved with our music videos. But this is the second time now in a row that I'm actually, I jumped on the director's seat again, because I was so disappointed in our own music videos for the past decade, really. So I'm excited as hell to be writing and directing and editing the music video now. And I'm like so it doesn't matter whether I'm doing the graphics, painting the album cover, doing the costumes, or writing the music. It's the childlike enthusiasm and the love and the excitement for what I'm doing, because I love to do this shit. This is something that it's like it doesn't feel like work. It feels like that I'm just playing and I'm just doing something that I love to do. And that's and even if I would have a real regular normal job, like as anybody who's like 49 years old and who should have a family and kids and actual fucking respectable job somewhere, so I would still, even if I would have all that, I would still do this on my free time. I would still, paint monsters and write, hard rock songs, and I would do this. I mean, because I love it. I mean, that's as important for me to get this creativity burst out. Like it's as important to take a shit, you know, or breathe or sleep. It's I have to do this, otherwise my brain explodes.
Yeah.
And that is actually why Lordi was born in the first place. Not sure if you know this, but I was a singer in another local band in the late 80s and early 90s, and then I was a fan of Kiss, well, and Twisted Sister and Alice Cooper, all those bands, and then when we were teenagers, all of a sudden the speed metal, thrash metal movement came very strongly, and then all of my bandmates, all of them, started switching into that direction more. But I stayed with the classic rock that you call it now, with Kiss and Twisted Sister and that more melodic Scorpion style of music. So that my bandmates refused to play my songs anymore and play my riffs anymore. They decided that we want to play something harder. We want to play something like Metallica or Slayer or Megadeth or Anthrax. And I wasn't really into that stuff. I was still into that more softer melodic stuff. And that's why Lordi was born, because I had to get those songs out of my system. So I had to start making demos on my own just to get them out of my fucking body, so I wouldn't physically explode into fucking pieces. So I wouldn't have the musical constipation.
And you definitely don't want that. That's horrible, both physically and mentally. And like I've noticed too with like the Lordi references, there's so many historical references ranging from Vlad the Impaler, Ivan the Terrible, Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun. I mean, you really do reference almost every scumbag throughout historical history in a way with the making of this. So
next in line, Vladimir Putin.
right. I was about to say, just put on a suit and then you got every modern scumbag as well. But
it's funny that on the album, what the hell is it called? Scare Force one, we have the Sir, Mr. President, Sir, that song. And it was just a fictional fucking character or something. I mean, this was time before Trump, and this was time, there was nothing this crazy going on. I mean, I think there was only the North Korean dude, still, doing his crazy shit there. But it was so fucking funny that when that album came out, there were people, depending on which continent they are calling or which country they are from, there was, oh, you are referring to, let's say, Putin, or you are referring to whoever, Bush, or you are referring to Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-un, or what the fuck is his name? Well, that's Chang Jong. Anyway, and I was like, no, it's a fictional fucking character. That Mr. President, it's actually like a Lordi. But this is how you see that, like you write, just like with all blue eyes and innocent blue eyes, you write a song about a fictional fucking death president, like a president who wants destruction, and then like, oh, he's commenting on the current political situation of the world. No, I'm fucking not. No, I'm just scratching my balls and I try to entertain myself, and there's no religious or political or any kind of statements that I'm making. Never, ever. No.
That's the funniest. That's probably one of my favorite stories I've ever heard because I will say that some of the lyrics to Lordi songs have aged like fine wine, and I don't know if that was intentional or if you had just some sort of telepathic, clairvoyant vision in a way, because artists do see into the future sometimes. And I was about to say, bravo. Regardless of what it's about, fiction or nonfiction, you hit the nail on the head. When you are getting people all over the world interpreting it differently, and you're equally offending people of all different viewpoints, you have succeeded as an artist. So bravo.
And you know what? So what you're saying is that I would actually be way more successful if they would, if the powers to be would let me actually do all my fucking sick things, because usually there's this fine line of censorship that it comes to me from the management or from the labels or something. There are quite a lot of things that I feel fine in the name of horror to do or say or write as a lyric or show as a graphic or something, but then they're like, no, let's not go there, that's too much. That why do you have to be so banal? Why do you have to be so fucking imbecile? Why do you don't be so don't do this is just like stupid. And I'm like, come on. But there's because I would actually want to start a music video where I'm fucking boiling kittens or boiling little babies. I would want to have just for the show of it, because as an horror entertainment factor, that would work. But then there are stupid idiots in the world who think that, oh my God, he's actually, encouraging people to boil little kittens and little babies. But one of my life mottos have been since I was a little kid is like, you can never underestimate the stupidity of people. And that
and the
that is
danger
proven
that
to
they
me
bring.
like almost every like daily. Like people are fucking stupid, fucking as rubber boots.
To quote the great Peter Steele, if it doesn't upset people, it's not rock music. Back in the day, you had to upset your parents, you had to upset your teachers, you had to upset the church, you had to upset your your overly Christian mom. Now you gotta upset everybody. To a degree.
I agree, but here's the interesting dilemma or paradox of that. Because if you do that, if you do whatever art form you're into, whatever you're doing, but if you have that in the back of your head the whole time, that you need to shock people, you need to get the reaction of people.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, because then you are not really doing what comes, that comes naturally out of you, and that is. If it comes out of you as a side effect, then it's good. Then it's fine. And most of the time, it doesn't come out like that. Of course, usually people are whatever. Because I think the last band that has actually truly shocked people in some sense, when they came, was Slipknot. Maybe Marilyn Manson around the same time or something. But those are the last bands who were actually really shocking people in some ways, or really, well, of course, depends on people. Like you said, there are people who will be shocked and offended about,
My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance has had its fair share of pissing people off. What it is I think when you try too hard to offend people, when you deliberately do it, then you just look like an asshole. If you're just going up and saying stupid shit for like 20 minutes, I've heard people say, oh, people are too sensitive nowadays. Sure, we could agree on that, but also do a little bit better than just dropping vulgar words on a fucking piece of paper. Like, you got to be creative about it. Like, and to me, that's what the art is. It's not just going up and dropping the F-bomb for 3 minutes straight. You know what I mean?
And if it backs up your artistic vision, whatever that might be at that moment, we've used the F word on a few of the albums and few of the songs when it actually suits and it serves the purpose of the song. But usually I don't, because usually it's not needed there. I don't do that. But it's like, if it serves the purpose and it so then it's fine and then it's okay. But just writing a song like fuck you, you fucking fuck. It doesn't really.
Yeah. Then you look like a drunk. I've seen plenty of. Look, it's St. Patrick's Day right now in New York City. I live surrounded by like 18 sports bars. I've seen plenty of drunken idiots at a frat party acting the exact same way, and they're not artists at all. So there's a.
There you go. That's the.
Yeah. I have two more questions for you. But in order to cultivate that creative energy and that creative inspiration, is inspiration something that could be really sought out? Can you really look for inspiration, or does it just kind of have to strike you?
Well, my inspiration is something that it's a tab that cannot be closed. It's flowing the whole time. It's dripping the whole time. I've had dreams, where when I woke up in the morning and I have a full song in my head, or at least an idea for a song. I have had that, but I can also put more log into the fireplace, if you know what I mean. That I can. Usually, it is like if I watch a movie that I haven't watched before, and if it's a good movie, then I usually get inspired by movies, not by other artists by listening to music, but I get inspired by movies. When if I watch a movie, then if it's a good movie, and it doesn't even matter what genre it is. I'm a movie geek. I'm a fucking nerd. I love all kinds of genres of movies, like except for musicals, which I hate, but that's another story. But that is something that I can definitely get my creative juices flowing. If it's a good movie and I watch it, I'll go, oh, and then after that I cannot wait to start writing something or doing graphics or something. Or painting or something. It's usually movies are the main thing for me, the fuel for me. Yeah. I don't know if I even answered your question in any way, but
you did.
Just okay.
Yeah. And the final question I wanted to ask you is with I feel like Lordi is almost kind of like a narrative thing. Like whenever a new Lordi album comes out, like before I listen to Screem Writers Guild in its entirety, I got to go back and listen to Lord Diversity and Collection and Censorship. Like I feel like, speaking of movie, that your music is like a very sort of cinematic aspect behind it. You're not going to get the concept of... Yeah. So but when you play live and you have to go through, different eras of the catalog, it's not like you could play everything from Get Heavy to Screem Writers Guild in a 2-hour set. So does that change the narration a little bit when you go through different parts of the catalog?
Yeah, it does, and of course it depends when we're trying to figure out the set list, and usually it's me doing the set list like for 95% of the time, and I'm usually every member has some suggestions that it's the songs that they would want to play, that hey, could we try that from that and that album? Sure, let's try it. I'm all but it like for example on Sexorcism, when we had the tour for that sex tourism, I remember it wasn't sex tourism, it was sex tourism. I tried to select songs that are somehow once again serving the purpose of that album theme, somehow have to do something with either exorcism or sex, So I was choosing songs like that. So now, this is our 18th album actually. So it is getting very difficult, if not impossible, to play something from each and every album. But unless you play 3 hours, then it's possible. But you don't.
Yeah.
You can't. Won't.
Maybe
you don't want to. But
never say never.
But then again, it's something that it is getting. Of course, it's very difficult. But we could do this. This is the beauty of it, because I am very aware of the fact that we could do the set list in a way that we could do very. If we would want to, we could play like a really hard metal set for 1.5 hours and just choose songs that are in that vein, or we could do really, really hair metal, poppy, hooky set list, or we could do something very, very obscure and weird set list, to play only the very deep cuts, very strange, weird songs. So we could do quite a lot, or we could also pick the songs with certain theme. We could do a full 90-minute song on only songs about zombies, or we could do songs about anal sex, the whole fucking 90 minutes. we could because it's everything I like, and I like a lot of things, so
yeah.
So yeah.
There we go. Let's make it happen. I want to thank you so much for your time and for such an awesome conversation to start the weekend. Everybody, we are here with Mr. Lordi of Lordi, Screem Writers Guild, coming out March 31st. Be sure to pick that up. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.